Lumber, the cornerstone commodity that frames our everyday lives and keeps the country, as we know it, sheltered, heated, furnished, and a whole lot more. But wrestling this raw material out of our forest and into our homes is not for the faint of heart.
Ah, mother!
It takes old-fashioned grit.
I'm not getting any power up there.
Monster machinery.
A lot of people get hurt doing it.
And nerves of steel to do the most dangerous job in America. Sorry, crab fishermen. From the moment pilgrims set foot on Plymouth Rock and ask themselves, what now? Lumber has been a key pillar to life in these United States. So much so, Americans now consume more of it than any other country worldwide. We're also the leading producer, milling out about 85 board feet of it per second and turning that into essential items, from the roof over our heads to the newspaper on our doorsteps and, more often than not, the door we walk through to pick it up. And now, more than ever, the demand for it is skyrocketing, thanks to a record boom in home building, which is why lumber companies like Papik Alaska Logging on Prince of Wales Island are working 7 days a week to meet that demand. And today, they're working harder than usual to fill a last-minute order for 1,000 tons of extra timber needed for a construction supplier. And if it's not cut, hauled, and waiting for a barge to pick it up in just 12 short hours, they could lose the $150,000 commission. So, this morning, the company's 40 employees are scattering across the forest in an effort to divide and conquer. Guys like modern-day lumberjack Trevor Killian, whose role in filling the order finds him deep in the Alaskan bush in search of fresh trees to harvest.
Elon, heel. We've been out here working in this unit for a while. We got most of the trees on the ground, but we got one more cluster to get, and it'll fill this order.
It's a 10-minute hike through barren-infested wilderness just to get to where Trevor left off yesterday. But he always has somebody watching his back.
My partner out here is Elon. I'm not a fan of leaving him at home. We're out here in the woods. He can run around all day with me. Best partner I could get. Good boy.
But when it comes down to cutting, Trevor's on his own. To fill the last-minute order, he'll need to fell at least 500 tons worth of good quality, merchandisable trees, or merch trees for short. Fortunately, he's come to the right place.
There's a nice vein right here of nice timber that'll make just nice logs, and that's gonna get our volume for the day. So let's get after it, man.
Up first, a 120-foot-tall red cedar, which should fetch about $4,000 once it's on the ground. All Trevor has to do now is put it there.
All right, this is the face cut. Then all that's left is I'll just start my back cut right here. Elon, back. This wedge is gonna lift the tree. I'm gonna make this tree grow that way. Go. All right, the money.
With the first tree dropped, the next step is to cut it down to size.
So we're gonna plug our tape in, and we're gonna walk this out to a preferred length and make our buck.
Bucking is just lumberjack language for cutting a tree into logs. In this case, about 40 feet long apiece.
We buck these logs so the loggers can get them out without breaking the trees. It's easier to move them around. So I got the first 2 logs made out of the first tree. Tons of work ahead. Let's get some more trees on the ground.
While Trevor chips away at his 500-ton quota, 5 miles away at another of Papik Alaska's logging sites,
Oh.
His colleague, Don Schmidt, prepares to collect his share of the last-minute order, 40 more tons of timber that's already been dropped. To do it, he relies on a 100,000-pound machine known as a shovel logger.
You can start off here with a maintenance check on her, make sure all the oils are up. I've been logging for about 35 years, and it hasn't really changed much. It's about the same as it's always been.
Basically, a shovel logger's job is to collect timber from the forest floor and stack it by the road in what's called a deck. From there, it'll be hauled out and shipped off to become the boards needed for America's latest building boom. But with the last-minute order looming, Don will need to move his 40-ton share of the load in just 10 hours, which is a pretty tight deadline for any shovel logger. But if all goes smoothly, he just might be able to pull it off.
Let's see if the old girl will run. Make sure she goes, and if she did, well, everything's a go. I'm gonna go clear that hill off. We gotta get the order done for her.
Once in position, Don begins stacking his first deck of the day.
Putting all these logs up here, trying to make them nice and neat. That way the processor can get to them. And they go right on the truck, so the neater I make my pile, the easier their job is.
But if reality television has taught us anything over the years, it's that no job can ever be too easy for too long.
The hell is that? That's not normal.
See what I mean?
There's something wrong with my machine. I got to get it up the road.
Don's been logging long enough to know when his machinery is acting up. In this case, there seems to be a serious loss of power.
I don't have time for this today.
While Don deals with the shovel logger, at another site, 2 miles away,
Let's go get the logs.
more of the Papik, Alaska logging crew are working toward filling the last-minute order. For their part, they'll need to move another 40 tons of lumber before the barge arrives in 12 hours. And to that very ambitious end, they're gathering timber from terrain that's too steep for conventional equipment. Instead, they rely on a massive machine known as a yarder to ferry logs uphill via cable. And it's the job of rigging slingers like Joey Linderborg to ensure those cables work as they should.
See where they stop shovel logging? That's where our job comes in, because the terrain is so steep. And now it's our job to get everything that the shovel left. We'll send the skyline out, get it hung, and then it's my job to get all the logs that's under the skyline to the landing.
With a yarder like this one, Joey and crew should be able to move the tonnage they need by day's end, so long as they know their way around the equipment, which, happily, Joey seems to.
The top line that the carriage rides on, the big line, it's called the skyline because it's always in the sky. The skid line in front of the carriage pulls the carriage to the landing. And then there's another line called the drop line, which is inside the carriage, which is radio controlled, down and then up. The 300-foot drop line, and that's where you hook the chokers.
But enough about how yarders work. Let's choke some logs.
Okay, so this is a choker. One's got a nubbin, one's got a bell. You go around the log, you put it through the bell, and then you go ahead on the drop line, which the control is on my belt, up, down. And we'll get to that in a minute. Not as easy as it looks. See, as I press this button, I'm picking up the drop line, I'm picking up the log now. This is how you go ahead on her. You see the carriage that rides back and forth on the sky car? I go ahead on that baby first. And that signals the engineer to go ahead on the carriage, and then I pick it up. And there's high and low. I just use high. And then when you get it where you want it, you say, up, oh, go ahead on her fast. And then they're gone. Not my problem anymore. Hell yeah, first log of the day. No issues, that's what we like to see.
But there's no time to celebrate. Another 39 tons of timber from this team alone are due to be pulled by the end of the day.
everybody's in a hurry. It makes everything even that more dangerous because everybody's in a hurry, trying to get it done real fast, you know, so watch out, everybody's gonna be impatient. There we go. Whoa! Ah, mother!